Hello and welcome to LiquidBio TV. Today we're going to be using some 3D visualization software called First Glance and JMOL, and I'm going to show you how to use that. But before I do, I kind of want to show you the files that we're looking at and where I get them from. So you can get files, PDB files, from a lot of different places, but one of the best places is the PDB or the Protein Data Bank itself. Specifically, the Protein Data Bank has a feature called the Molecule of the Month. And if you click on Molecule of the Month, you can just Google this. This is free. You can type in a variety of different molecules, and you will get a lot of information about them, but specifically you'll get cool structural information about them. So here I've got DNA. I can either download these files myself, or I can find the codes for them. They're usually a number followed by 3 letters, so 1 BNA, 1 ANA, 1 2 DCG, and then there's usually some kind of information about what those structures are. We're going to look at DNA today, just to give you an example of how to mess with it. So I'm going to go with 1 BNA, that's my code. I'm then going to type in first glance in JMOL, that's first glance in JMOL, just like that. I'm going to type in 1 BNA right here, and I'm going to hit the button submit. If I have a PDB file itself and not the code, I can just go ahead and click right here, and that will give me the ability to upload it from my computer. So submit, we're going to give it a second. Okay, cool. And now we got it working. I'm just freeing up a lot of space here. I'm using a lot of applications at the same time. All right. Okay. So what you're looking at here is the visualization console here. Over on the left here, you have kind of the menu. So you can do a lot of different. You can manipulate the image in a lot of different ways here. If you take a look at them. These are kind of more standard ways of doing it. I prefer using something called the console, but that's just because I've played with this a bunch. You can do the same thing, and you can find these console commands online if you look them up. So I'm going to right click on this image, and there's going to be a thing that comes up. I'm going to type console, and I'm going to bring my console right over here. Okay. So I really don't like looking at this background in black, so I'm going to change the background to white. And honestly, what I'm going to be doing here most of the time is just selecting something and then coloring it or shaping it. So what you're looking at right now is a cartoon model. I don't like the cartoon model very much. What it is good at is giving you a very basic structure. So like you can see, the DNA here has a very helical structure, which is very evident with the cartoon model, but I don't like looking at it like this. So I'm going to go spin 0 just because I don't like it spinning while I'm messing with it. And then I'm going to turn the cartoon off. So I'm going to select the whole image, which is really all the atoms, and then I'm going to go cartoon off. I could also go cartoon 0. Now, let's take a look at all the atoms first. So all the atoms are going to take up some space, and so we can use what's called a space fill model to image them. So I'm going to image them in a size 0 through I think 400, but I have selected all still, so I'm going to now go space fill 100. All right, cool. Now we have a bunch of atoms. They're all weirdly colored though. So I could right now actually type in red, black, blue, or whatever I wanted, but I'm going to type in a color scheme called CPK. Named after a restaurant called California Pizza Kitchen. They were the first to break down food by these atoms and then color them just to make them easier to see in menus. Actually, I'm lying about all of that. It's by 3 scientists, Carolus, Pauling, and something. I don't know. So that turns things to a little more comfortable color scheme for me. That carbon gray, red oxygen, blue nitrogen scheme that I think most of us are more familiar with. Okay, is that thing still spinning? Is that me? I think I've been here too long. Okay, so I also want to take a look at bonds. So now I'm going to put in wires between the atoms. That's called a wireframe model. And I want my atoms to kind of stick, or my wires to kind of stick out from my atoms, but in a smaller way. So I'm going to make my wireframe 50. Okay, cool. Now you can see I've got everything kind of connected up. And I'm viewing my molecule here. So you're going to be looking at molecules in the future, and what you're going to want to do is call attention to certain parts of it. So for example, if I wanted to call attention to an amino acid, I could select that right now, or a nucleotide, I could select that right now. Let's say I want to take a look at the backbone. Let's say I'm trying to explain to people how p53 works, and I want people to say, hey, p53 comes to DNA and it binds to the backbone because it's really negatively charged. The backbone is that is. So I could either try to find the atomic structure of the backbone, which would be here heavily phosphorus based, or in this case I can actually just go select backbone. All right, now I've got my atom selected. So I'm trying to really bring out the fact that there are these negatively charged things. So I'm going to think of a color that reminds me of negative. It's going to be yellow. And then, like I said, I really, really want to bring out this idea. So I'm going to kind of make it feel like it's got huge negative charges. So I'm going to go space, fill, 300. All right. And so now you can see what I've got. I'm going to go spin 50. And now you can see that I am manipulating a DNA molecule. You can see the insides of it. And you can see really, really well now how the backbone is wrapping around the outside, and to me it looks negatively charged. Let's say I wanted to go into it a little bit deeper and just slightly offset the phosphorus in it. So I would go select phosphorus, select phosphorus, and then go color. Ooh, I don't know. I feel like that would make Jenna the most upset because it's just ugly. And so you can see now I've got my phosphorus is in green there. I've got the rest of my DNA molecule kind of down the center in blue, gray, and red. And I've got my backbone in yellow. Anyway, this is a quick tutorial on how to use this. It's not too complicated. So give it a shot and you can play around with it. Good luck.